We good?
Nice.
Hello everyone, I'm Jotham,
And I'm Joel.
and we are from the Uncut Js.
Yes. By the fireplace.
But the random five. So today we are privileged to have with us Dr. Martha Lee. She's a clinical sexologist. She's also a relationship counselor, and she is the founder of Eros Coaching. She has a doctorate in human sexuality from the Institute of Advanced Study of Sexuality.
Yes, we got so many questions. Oh my God.
I don't even know where to start.
Okay, so the first
So you can
question
start.
is, how the hell does one become a sexologist in the first place? It's a very rare profession.
Yeah, so there was at that point in Singapore, there was nobody talking about sex in positive way. It was only in negative ways, and I never came across anybody who was positive about sex. So I went, got my doctorate, came back, started my practice. So it's been almost 10 years. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, how do you get a doctorate in
study.
So are there practical lessons? Because you can be the doctor of sex, right?
Okay, so a lot of people out there, they may specialize in sexual medicine. Gynaes, urologists, GPs. In India especially, a lot of people who call themselves sexologists in India, they actually are just medical doctors. So you really have to see what kind of training they have. So for me, my doctorate in human sexuality is very much an academic study. Studying about like medicine, psychology, anthropology, all the G you can think of.
All the G.
So basically, it was really academic, but there were some components
drugs?
of it which was practical, as in you have to go back and do practices by yourself or with a partner or in your relationship. Do this. Some of the practices. Okay, one practice I was really mad. Like for instance, one of the homework is masturbate in a new way, and I was like,
Oh wow! So you have to you have
Yeah.
to find out a new way or
yes.
develop a
So
new
it's
way.
like if you use your right hand, use your left hand. Like, why do I have to do it?
So you try it yourself
Yeah. Or they say things like
with a roommate.
no, you masturbate by yourself.
Oh.
So or another one will be breathe when you are on the verge of orgasm. And I was like, why? Why do I have to change it? You know, why change something
Breathe.
that
I
works?
think we all need to breathe, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but as you're at
before
the
you-
point of
Right.
orgasming, breathe.
And does it change anything?
Try it.
Oh, okay. Are there other tips? But anyway,
You go behind, I see you in 2 minutes.
if I don't breathe, I will be dead anyway.
No,
okay,
at the
so-
point of orgasming.
Is there a difference?
Okay, most
between
of
a
us
male and a female?
when we are about to have an orgasm, we don't realize this is we don't breathe. The sensation starts to build up and it feels good, so we want to hold on to it.
Yes.
So actually we are not breathing.
So you
true.
hold
We
your
are-
breath.
the tension in our usually around our genitals starts to build up and
Yeah.
build up and build up, and then there's more and more muscle tension in our body, more and more sensation building up, and we're not breathing. So at that point when you're just about to have an orgasm, to breathe, there's a lot of fear of what if I lose it?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's the point? It's almost like this reward. So why should I change it? So actually breathing intensifies feelings and sensations in your body. So this is a little bit tantra, but it's very, confrontational, because we don't realize until you are given such a homework that actually we're just such creatures of habit, and we don't like being challenged, we don't like being told even like we are wrong. But actually when I had to do my homework, being a good Singaporean, that actually I realized that a lot of what I think should be sex, should be good, is good. It's not necessarily the case.
Do you like write down the different results that you have had? So you know,
we
because
share
need
this in
practice,
class.
right?
We share this in class.
Oh.
Yeah, like, okay, how was this homework? This. And
We've
you
got our
see-
homework.
you hear
Funny,
from
we've
different
got our
people.
homework also.
Homework tonight.
So
Yeah,
funny.
you
Let's
hear
say
from
if you-
different people.
So
yeah.
like if you monitor yourself and then you just tabulate the results on a sheet, do you do that?
No lah, we don't tabulate lah. We just
Oh.
share like human beings. We share.
I mean, sure, but I like to, like
Make it very scientific.
Yeah,
not
I mean,
really.
because it's exciting, don't you think? Like each time when you're testing on your own body, so it's empirical-ish.
You can, if you want, like keep a journal. So my second book, Orgasmic Yoga, is exactly that. It's all about masturbating in different ways.
In
Wow,
yoga, okay,
no
I'm trying to
wonder.
imagine
Okay,
the two
okay.
things together.
do you do that kind of like practical lessons there and then during
No,
the
no,
session?
I don't touch them at all, ever.
Oh, but
So
do they
there's
touch
no
themselves
touch
and
on, no,
you
there's
instruct?
no touch, there's no nudity. Yeah, so many
Oh.
years ago, I had a client who said, we want to pay you to watch us have sex. I was like, no thanks. And then they said, no, you don't understand. We're paying you to watch us. I said, I got you the first time, and the answer was no. I'm not stupid, you know.
Is there a reason why they?
Yeah, and then another client said, I want to book you for 2 hours. I said, why would you want to book for 2 hours? Do you know you'll be mentally fried, you know, talking and processing whatever for 2 hours? It's like, but don't we need, isn't it better to have more time? You know, like.
So
Yeah,
are there practices out there that say, okay, so you're having this problem, okay, you have sex in front of me, I watch, and then
There are people who will do that, just like there will be people who will do anything you want them to do for money, but I don't. And what is confusing is that I call myself a sexologist because I actually have a doctorate in human sexuality, and sexuality is, sexology is actually an academic field. Some of my classmates in the US who also call themselves sexologists, they do that, you see, they do practical work. And some sexologists are also sex surrogates. So I can understand the confusion.
Oh, what's a sex surrogate?
So a sex surrogate is somebody who uses the body to teach clients things. But a sex surrogate is not just a prostitute or a sex worker. A sex surrogate usually has some specialized training on how to help clients overcome problems. And they do it in tandem together with maybe a sex therapist or sexologist. So it's like a triad relationship where you have the client, the sex therapist or sexologist, and the sex surrogate. So one does the talking and the emotional part, and the other does the hands-on part. But this is usually for people who actually have a problem, and not people who, oh yeah, I want to just try, you know, I just want to like have fun, and it's quite sickening. Anyway, I don't do that. I don't work with sex surrogates. Instead, I just use coaching, counseling. I teach them by giving them homework. So I understand that there may be a confusion in what I do, but what I don't appreciate is when I tell you my boundaries and you keep pushing. They ask, and I say no, and then they ask again and they ask again, or they may book a session, and from the first session you can tell they're already pushing your boundaries. That's what gets me really, really mad.
But do they mix you? Do they confuse you as a sexologist and a sex therapist? There's a difference.
Yeah, there
right,
is
you're
a
talking
difference because the background is different. There are people who call themselves sex therapists in Singapore.
Yeah.
The difference is that they have a master's in psychology, and then they did a minor in sex therapy. So it's like a certificate. And the approach is very different because the training is very different. So I also have a certificate in sex therapy, so I know what sex therapists teach. But because we are individuals, every therapist will maybe have a slightly different approach. So just because they have the title sex therapist, I shouldn't assume that they just talk and don't give them any practical mind-body homework. I shouldn't assume that, but a lot of times what kind of training that they have, the credentials, can give you an indication of what kind of approach you can expect when you start to work with them.
okay.